In this presentation, we're going to set up inventory items that we sell into QuickBooks Online. Here we are in our Get Great Guitars file. We're going to go down and set up our inventory items now. So we're going to go back down to the Sales tab on the left. We're going to be in our Product and Services tab up top. Last time we had set up our service items. So these are the items that we currently have. Now we've got our service items and the original items that set up were here with the system, including the hourly fee. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now. Now we're going to be adding the inventory items. These are inventory units that we actually sell. We're going to use a similar process. Note that you could basically say that you go to new here and add inventory item one at a time. And we'll see what it would basically look like if you were to do that. We're going to use the same input fields, however, to do the similar kind of process. Let's say we had a list of inventories, either from a prior software or in some other fashion, or it might be just easier to input into Excel and then bulk upload into the QuickBooks Online system. That's what we'll do now. So I'm going to close this back out, and we're going to say that we need a import option. So we're going to import these items. These are, once again, going to be the items like the service items that would show up on the invoices and sales receipts. So again, you can look at the example here, the example item for the example Excel worksheet for the formatting. Just as we saw with the service items, you'll note that we may not have every field in up top that will be filled out, and we even might have different names in the header fields. However, you want to line it up as best you can. If they are off, however, you'll see that we had that matching field when we go through the importing process, and we can line them up in that matching field as well. So let's take a look at what we have then. This is going to be our inventory items. So we've got the item name, and then we have the sales description, the purchase description. Now, you'll note that the item name is just going to be a shorthand name here. And in QuickBooks Online, they could call it a stock keeping unit or SKU. So if we notice that, if we export this from another software and we say, maybe I should just change this header then to SKU, and that'll make the matching field easier. If we didn't do that, the matching field when we lined it up wouldn't line up, and we could just simply grab another header and be able to make that adjustment. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put together an Excel worksheet just like this, as if we had to put it together from scratch. Again, you might get it in practice from another software, but it may even be easier just to make an Excel worksheet if you have multiple kinds of inventory products, and then just line it up in the way that you need to in order to input it. It might be actually faster to do that. And again, the import process will be similar for other types of items as well that you may want to import, such as vendors or customers. So I'm going to make a new sheet here, and I'm going to say, okay, what if we wanted to build this thing from scratch? I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I'm at 130 of the size. And then I'm just going to say, all right, first we'd want to go through the headers. Now, the first name that we had here, I'm going to say is an SKU. So I'm going to say we have SKU. That's going to be like the product identification. And then the next tab, I'll make this even a little bit larger here. So I'm at 160. I'm going to call this the Sales Description tab. Now, I'm not even worried about the fact that I'm going to overwrite this cell. I'm just going to keep on typing, and it'll be okay, and then I'll adjust the cells. This is going to be the Purchase Description. Then we have the cost of the... Now, this is a new cell we didn't have in the service item because we didn't buy them. But now we do. We're buying them and then selling them. So we need both the cost, what we buy them for, and the sales price, what we sell them for. Then we also need the cost of goods sold account. That's going to be the inventory or the expense account when we actually sell the inventory that we purchased. And then we need the income account, which is going to be the income account that we're going to hit when we sell these items. Remember last time it was just sales income. Now we're going to have the product or service income. We'll differentiate the sales that are services versus inventory. And then we need the asset account, which you would think would be inventory, right? Inventory asset account. And then we have the sales tax code. In other words, do we have to have sales tax on it? And we're going to say we do have to charge sales tax on the inventory, but not the services. Then we have the quantity on hand, which they abbreviate, quantity on hand. And then we have the as of date. And we're going to say the as of date is going, and then we have, and they actually call this the quantity as of date. So I'm going to double click on this cell, and I'm going to say this is going to be the quantity as of date. Date needs an E. So there we have that. And then we have the type. So type. Okay, so then I'm going to make this a bit larger so we could see everything now. I'm going to highlight all the cells. I'm going to highlight all these cells, all the columns. And then I'm going to go right between them so I can see it. My cursor looks like this. And then double click on it. I'm going to double click on it, and that'll automatically set the rows to the size they need to be, just the minimum size to populate the text that is in it. So let's review this. We got the SKU, sales description, purchase description, cost, sales price, cost of goods sold, income account, and I think they call this the, no, I think that's right. I think they call this one not just asset account, but inventory asset account. So I'm going to say inventory asset account, and then I'm going to double click on it, make that a little bit larger. Then we have the sales tax code, we have the quantity on hand, quantity as of date, and the type. Now, once again, I'm going to make this bold. I'm going to highlight the whole thing, highlight all these that we have done, not the whole column, but just that row. I'm going to make it bold in the Home tab font. We're going to make it bold so that we can, so that the system knows that this is going to be the header line. And then I'm going to center it. So that's going to be Home tab alignment center. And that's going to be important. Again, it's important to put it bold or something like that so that, again, the system will know, hey, this is the header row to our table. Now I'm going to pick these up line by line basically from the prior sheet, which is the answer sheet. So I'm going to be picking this up. The first one we're going to call an ELP. So we're going to say it's going to be an ELP. Then we're going to say that this is going to be an Epiphone Les Paul. So it's an Epiphone Les Paul. And the purchase description is going to be the same. So the purchase description and the sales description, which will be on the purchase order if we use one, and the invoice or sales receipt. Then we're going to have the cost, and the cost is going to be 400. So I'm going to say cost 400. We're going to sell it for, that's what we buy it for. We're going to sell it for 500. Now we have to have the cost there because that's going to be what's going to track the cost of goods sold in the inventory. And then the cost of goods sold account is simply going to be cost of goods sold. That's the expense account that's going to be used when we create the invoice or sales receipt. I'm going to make this a little larger. And then the income account, we're just going to call sales. And notice that's not going to tie out exactly to the system because we don't have just sales, I don't think. They had some other type of income account. So we're going to have to double check that, but I'm going to keep that for now. Then we have the inventory asset account. So the asset account we're going to say is inventory asset. And we'll have to match that up and make sure it lines up to what is the inventory account called in the system. That's the asset account. We're going to say sales tax. It's going to be taxable. So we're going to say, yes, it's taxable. Then we have the quantity on hand. We're going to say there's one on hand as far as the quantity goes. We'll say there's one on hand. And we're going to put all of our data, the new data is going to be in there as of 2020. So we'd like this inventory. It's going to force a journal entry to be in there. If we tell the system, hey, we already have one of these, and we didn't journal entry it on there because we're just starting the QuickBooks system, it's going to have to make a journal entry somehow to increase inventory and put some other account somewhere else, which will show you how it does. But just to make sure it doesn't mess up the current year we're going to start in, I like to put this as of 12/31/19. So it's going to be a date field 12/31/19. So that's going to be picking up then the prior year, the end of the last year, so that the current year is at 2020. It's not going to make a journal entry that's going to affect like the income statement in 2020, the current year we're going to be working on. And then the type is going to be inventory. It's not a service item. It's going to be an inventory type item. Going to make this a little larger. All right, let's keep doing that again. We're going to do that again for the next piece. Obviously, this is a little bit longer one. I'm going to say we did this. I'm going to make this one yellow. It's done. The next item is going to be an ESP. So I'm going to say it's an ESP. And that's going to be an Epiphone Standard Pro. These are guitars that we're selling, by the way. If you have any questions about that, we're selling guitars here. Epiphone Standard Pro. And this is going to be the cost, is what we buy it for, $480. We're then going to sell it for the 600. So sell it for the 600. Cost of goods sold is going to be the same. Same for the income account. That's going to be the same. Inventory assets is going to be the same asset account when we generate these items. Sales tax, yes. Quantity on hand. Let's see how many we have on hand. We're going to say one quantity on hand, and the as of date will be the same, and this is also an inventory type. All right, let's do the next one. I'm going to say that one's done. Next, we have an ER, which we're going to say is in, do this a little bit faster. That's going to be an Epiphone Riviera. So Epiphone Riviera, it's going to be, let's do both of these. We're going to buy it for $440. We're going to sell it for $550. Cost of goods sold, these three accounts will remain the same. So cost of goods sold, sales account, inventory asset, sales tax. Yes, quantity on hand, we're going to say is 1. So we got one of those on hand as well. Same date, so that's the same, and same here. All right, so that's the ER. We're going to go back over and say that one has been picked up. Then we have this one, another guitar that we sell, which happens to be an SSB Steinberger solid body or something like that. And that's going to be the cost and what we sell it for, the cost and what we sell it for. These accounts are going to be the same. It's going to be the same for all these inventory items. And then I'm going to go back over tax, yes. Quantity on hand, we're going to say is 1 once again. 1. And then we have date and type. Back over. What do we got next? I'm going to say this one's yellow. We have back to all the way back. And then we have, let's copy these 3. A Gibson USA, another type of guitar. Gibson USA, we buy them for $304, sell them for $380. $304, $380, cost of goods sold, sales, inventory, same. And tax, yes, tax. And I think we have 2 of these, if I recall. Pretty sure I was looking in the warehouse yesterday and I saw 2 of those. Yep. And then we're going to say that this is the same. All right. And then we're on the last one here, the last one. Then we have to stop this, good times. We're going to be saying that we have the Epiphone semi-hollow wood. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. All right. So Epiphone semi-hollow wood. There we have it. I made the cells a little larger. Cost, sales price. Cost, sales price. Cost of goods sold, sell, and inventory asset all the same. Tax, yes. We're going to have sales tax on it. And 2 on hand there too. 2 on hand for those. All right. And there we have the final item. So there we have it. Now we're going to go through the same process. I'd save this. We're going to save the Excel worksheet. Obviously, you don't want 2 tabs when you import the Excel where you only want 1 tab. But then you're going to save this information, and then we'll go through the same import process. We'll browse next time. We'll look for the import process. Again, once you just browse and import it, it's not done. There's that 3-step process. So even if there's something wrong with the importing, that's okay. It's not actually in the system. It's not like it just pops up and appears. It's going to then match the headers out, and then we'll have to take a look at that before we finalize the importing process, which is kind of nice. So that's what we'll do next time.